Good morning, dear students. So, in today's class, we are going to discuss about the factors affecting adsorption. So, we have seen adsorption, adsorbent, and what is the difference between physical adsorption and chemical adsorption. Yes. So, today we are going to learn what are the factors affecting adsorption. So, first we should know that extent of adsorption. So, what do you mean by extent of adsorption? Look at here, children. So the amount of gas adsorbed by per unit mass of an adsorbent is called extent of adsorption. That means how much quantity it can be adsorbed. Okay, the substance which is going to be adsorbed by an adsorbent, so how much it is going to be extent is called extent of adsorption. So the amount of gas adsorbed per unit mass, so per unit mass how much it is going to be adsorbed, okay, is called extent of adsorption. So extent of adsorption is expressed in terms of x by m. So what do you mean by x? X is nothing but mass of a gas adsorbed. So whatever gas molecules are going to be adsorbed on the surface is denoted with the letter x. So x equal to mass of a gas adsorbed. And what do you mean by m? What do you mean by m? M is nothing but mass of a adsorbent. So how much the solid or the solid surface is present, so that is called m. So m is nothing but mass of the adsorbent. So here extent of adsorption of gases on solids depends on, so what are the natures it going to be depends on. First of all, first factor is surface area of the adsorbent. So what do you mean by surface area? Surface area is nothing but the upper layer, okay, the upper layer of the substance, either it is a solid or a liquid or anything, the upper layer, okay, the layer which is going, all the molecules are going to be adsorbed, that one is called surface area of the adsorbent. So look at here definition, children. So adsorption is a surface phenomena. So where the adsorption will take place only on the surface, that is why it is called surface phenomena. Adsorption is a surface phenomena. So the extent of adsorption is directly proportional to the surface area of the adsorbent. So understood, children? So how much surface area is present? For example, this is a solid I am taking, okay, whose surface area is this. So it is having more amount of space to adsorbate molecules can be accumulate on the surface of the solid, isn't it? So if you make into fine pieces, like this, more area is present. If still if you want to make it powdered, in this way, okay, more number of molecules are going to be adsorbed on the surface area, okay, more the surface area, more the extent of adsorption. Now understand, children? So surface area of the adsorbent mainly depend on surface area of the adsorbent. So the extent of adsorption is directly proportional to the surface area of the adsorbent. So more the surface area, more the extent of adsorption, isn't it? So here the process of increasing the surface area of an adsorbent and making it a better adsorbent is called as activation of adsorbent. So what we are doing here, we have taken solid and then we have make it into fine pieces, and at last we have made into fine powder. So what we are doing, we are increasing the surface area. Okay, what we are doing here, we are increasing the surface area of whom? Surface area of the adsorbent, and making it better for adsorption. Okay, so here the process of increasing of surface area of an adsorbent and making it better adsorbent, we are making this solid as a better adsorbent. So this process is called activation of the adsorbent. We are making the process actively, so it is called activation of the adsorbent. And the next factor comes to nature of gas. So here nature of the gas. So greater the critical temperature of a gas, stronger is the van der Waals forces of attraction between the gas molecules. If it is having critical temperature, what do you mean by critical temperature? Critical temperature is the temperature at which the gas can be liquefied. If it is more, the gas cannot be liquefied. Understand, children? So the gases with high critical temperature are easily liquefied, okay, in the gas substance. So in a vapor state is going to be get converted into liquid state. It is not that much easy. That is why it should have high critical temperature. So the gases with high critical temperature are easily liquefied and are absorbed to a great extent. So the gases which are having high critical value can be absorbed more easily. So here I have given example. See, SO2, HCl, NH3, CO2, etc. have high critical temperature. TC means critical temperature. So what happens when they are having high critical temperature? When they are having high critical temperature, they have high extent of adsorption. Okay, they have high extent of adsorption when compared to a permanent gases like H2 and O2. These all are having a particular temperature. They are permanent gases. So when we compare this with this, see, look at here. So 1 gram of activated charcoal. Okay, 1 gram of activated charcoal. So 1 gram of activated charcoal adsorbs 400 ml of SO2 at critical temperature. How much? 430 Kelvin. Okay, 1 gram of activated charcoal adsorbs 400 ml more amount of SO2 at critical temperature 430, and 1 gram of activated charcoal adsorbs 20 ml of CH4 at critical temperature 356. But if you take a permanent gases like H2, it at for 1 gram of activated charcoal adsorbs only 5 ml of H2. 5 ml of H2 at critical temperature 253 Kelvin. 253 Kelvin. Now understood, children? So here nature of gas, the gases which are having high critical temperature, they can be absorbed more easily than when compared to the permanent gases like H2, N2, O2. So you can see this example. By seeing this example, you can better understand. Next comes to pressure. So effect of pressure of a gas. So at some times, what do you mean by effect of a pressure, children? So look at here, children. Effect of a pressure of a gas. So if you increase the pressure, more extent it can be absorbed, isn't it? But at some time, the rate of adsorption will become equal to rate of desorption. Desorption means again the molecules we are at which means where they are going to be absorbed. Again it can be move back. Okay, it will be move away from its absorbent. So that state is called equilibrium state. What do you mean by equilibrium state, children? Rate of adsorption equal to rate of desorption. So when it becomes equal, that state is called equilibrium state. So the pressure at this equilibrium state is called equilibrium pressure. Okay, what do you mean by equilibrium pressure? When rate of adsorption equal to rate of desorption, that process is called equilibrium state. So the pressure at this state, at equilibrium state, is called equilibrium pressure. Understand? So if we see the relation between extent of adsorption we denote with an x by m. Okay, we are denoted extent of adsorption with x by m of a gas, and equilibrium pressure at constant temperature, the temperature will always constant, is called adsorption isotherm. So what do you mean by adsorption isotherm, children? The relation between the extent of adsorption of a gas and the equilibrium pressure at constant temperature is called adsorption isotherm. What do you mean by isotherm? Iso means same, therm means temperature. So if you plot a graph, x by m value will become on y-axis and the pressure will take it on x-axis. At constant pressure, how they are going to be changed with the effect of temperature, we are going to see now. So look at here, children. What is said? If you increase the pressure, more adsorption it will take place, I said. So it is physics option, means it is a physical adsorption. In state of physical adsorption, this is a solid. Okay, the molecules and the solid having weak bond. Okay, first we are giving only one layer of molecules, it can be absorbed. If you give more and more pressure, this is take as 30, okay, 30 moles, and if you take here 3000 moles, here 30 moles it can be absorbed, and here if you apply some pressure and if you are giving more moles also, it can be absorbed. Okay, because it is in a physical adsorption, only weak bonds are formed. So here number of moles is directly proportional to the pressure. Okay, number of moles is directly proportional to pressure, and in physical adsorption we can see multi-molecular layers. We can see multi-molecular layer. When it comes to chemisorption, means chemical adsorption, So the bond which is formed between the solid and the molecules are more strong. Okay, the bond which are formed between the solids and the molecules are more strong, and there is no availability of space to get, if you increase the number of moles also, there is no space to occupy because the bond is strong. The bond is strong. So if you plot a graph between physical adsorption and chemical adsorption with respect to pressure, see, look at here. On y axis I have taken x by m. X by m means, already we know what do you mean by x. X by m is nothing but extent of adsorption. X means mass of a gas, m means mass of an adsorbent. So here I have already discussed, isn't it? So here I have taken pressure. So in physical adsorption, what happened? Slowly the graph, the slope is going to be increased. That means if you increase more pressure, more adsorption can be takes place. When comes to physical adsorption, starting it can be increased at initial level, at initial state it can be increased, but at some state, okay, at some region it remains constant and which becomes equal to the x-axis. Okay, it remains constant. Why it is become constant? Because a lack of availability of the surface area. Why it is having lack of surface area? Because the bond which are formed between the molecules and the solids are strong. So when they are strong, there is no availability of space to adsorb the molecules more and more, isn't it? Yes. So understand the physical adsorption and chemical adsorption, children? Yes. So here if you want to plot a graph, there are two familiar adsorption isotherms. Adsorption isotherms means at a constant temperature we are going to plot a graph. Okay. So here two scientists named Freundlich and Langmuir isotherms. They have given two isotherms, but for your class we are going to see only Freundlich isotherm. So Freundlich was a scientist. He has made three observations. So at low pressure what is happening, at high pressure what is happening, and at medium pressure what is happening. He has done some experiment. So first at a low pressure, look at here, at low pressure if you plot a graph, the graph is almost a straight line. Okay, it will becomes almost a straight line. It indicates that x by m is directly proportional to the equilibrium pressure. Understand, children? At low pressure, if you plot a graph between x by m and p, we are going to get a straight line. So it shows that x by m is directly proportional to equilibrium pressure. So x by m equal to kp. So I have removed this proportionality constant and I have taken k, where k is the constant. Understand, children? And at high pressure what is happening? At high pressure, okay, at high pressure the curve becomes a straight line parallel to the pressure axis. That means it will go like this, okay, which is becomes parallel to the pressure axis. That means it indicates that at a high pressure x by m value is independent of the equilibrium pressure. So the equilibrium pressure at which x by m remains constant, okay, at some particular state it remains constant. That point is called as saturation pressure. This point is called saturation pressure. Okay, so he couldn't explain why it is happened. So x by m is directly proportional to p naught, where x by m equal to k p naught. What do you mean by p naught here? Here is nothing but here it is an equilibrium pressure. Okay, here x by m value is become independent on the equilibrium pressure. That is why we denoted it p naught. Next comes to medium pressure. At medium pressure what happened? At intermediate range of pressure, x by m is directly proportional to the fractional power of the pressure. Fractional power of the pressure. This relation is called as Freundlich adsorption isotherm. Freundlich Freundlich adsorption isotherm. So here x by m equal to k p 1 by n. So here 1 by n value may be 0 to 1. That means it may be 0.5 also. Okay, 0.1 to 0.5, like that the values may be changed. Understand? So here L by 1 by n is a fractional and its probability range may be 0 to 1. That means 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.25. Understand? So if you plot a graph, you are going to get a graph like this. extent of adsorption I am going to take on y axis, that is x by m, and the pressure here. So what I said, at low pressure I said it is going to be a straight line. So here we got a straight line, x by m equal to kp. So at medium pressure, what I said, at medium pressure it shows some fractional value, fractional power, isn't it? So x by m equal to kp 1 by n. So at high pressure I said it becomes equal to the x-axis. Okay, the pressure which is present on x-axis, it becomes equal to that value. At high pressure the curve becomes a straight line parallel to pressure axis. It indicates that at high pressure x by m value is independent of the equilibrium pressure. So here x by m is directly proportional to P naught. This state is called saturation pressure. Understand, children? So for this, if you take logarithmic form of a Freundlich adsorption isotherm, okay, we are going to get x by m equal to kpl by n. So take log on both sides, this side and this side. Log x by m equal to log k plus l by n, 1 by n comes this side, 1 by n log p. So what I am doing, I am taking logarithm for the value of a Freundlich adsorption isotherm, that is x by m equal to k p 1 by n, taking log on both sides. Log x by m equal to log k plus 1 by n log p. So x by m on which axis I am taking? On y axis. So y. Log x by m equal to y, that equal to c. C is nothing but intercept. Log k is nothing but intercept, plus log p value. Here log p value becomes it is varying in x-axis, isn't it? That is why it is mx. Understand? C is the intercept, log p which varies on that on x-axis. X-axis it is varying, no? So it is slowly moving and it becomes straight line. So yes, and 1 by n is a slope. So here the validity of the Freundlich isotherm can be verified by plotting the graph. If the graph becomes, or if the graph shows a straight line, then the Freundlich value or Freundlich isotherm is valid, isn't it? Now a straight line graph, okay, what he said, if it comes a straight line, it is invalid, he said. So for this value we are going to plot a graph again now. So log x by m on this value, log p. So this one log p on x-axis, we are going, this is x-axis. So x-axis what is present? Log p value I have taken. So now what is said? Straight line. So starting the line will be like this, and again it will be shows a straight line. So this point I am taking 2 points and I have kept a slope like this. This value is 1 by n value, and this starting point is log k, that is intercept c. Yes, and this is the slope. Understand, children? For this value I am drawing the graph which gives a straight line. Okay. For this also one limitation is present. What the limitation? He could not explain the extent of adsorption x by m at high pressure. So at high pressure, why it becomes why the pressure remains constant, he could not explain. So that are the limitations. So understand? So these graphs are very, very important for your NEET and all, everything. Okay, this is your today's class, and I think you have understood better. In next class we are going to the next topic. Thank you, children.